Well, hello there again, friends. Today is 3/24/2022, and today is the Odin Project Vlog Day 78. And today I worked on the the form, picking up where we left off last time, completing the form. I'm not complete with it, but I did spend a substantial amount of time, and I figured this was a good place to stop, make a video. I spent a substantial amount of time creating the form layout and making it responsive as far as the resolution to the page. I didn't get to any of the CSS response yet, as far as like password match challenges, making sure that there's error checking, error correcting. I'll get to that in the next video. I spent a lot of time on the resolution and responsiveness of it to make sure that it looked good when it was readjusted. So when the resolution was changed or screen was resized. So we're going to go over that today. And without further ado, let's just get started. So I believe at the end of the last video we were right here at form card, and I had first name and last name in. So I changed a little bit of that. And so what I'm going to attempt to do today is I'm going to try to flow through, bouncing back and forth from the HTML to the CSS so you can see how each thing played out. So element played out. So excuse me. First I created a div class called first name, and I have a label first name. I'm not going to go through these verbatim, except for the first couple. You guys should have already read that and have been working on it. So I'll just call it, my first name form, and we'll just move on just to keep the video flowing. But I have the first label for the first name, and then the first name listed, and then I have the input type. I probably should make this bigger. I have the input type text, first ID, ID is first name is first name for the backend, and this is just a text field. Same thing with last name. So basically I created, last time I don't think I had different divs. This time I separated out based on some Google searches I found and Stack Overflow stuff. So I have a first name class, and that just went over there, and then I have a second div called last name with the exact same stuff, just text box for last name. And so for those two, we come over here and just disregard this here. Again, this is kind of like what I had in the last video. I was playing with something, I didn't like it, I commented it out, and then never came back to it, but I want to keep it for now until the end of the video, or the end of the project, excuse me. Because if I want to use it, that way I can go back to it instead of having to recreate the wheel. So anyway, going down here, we start off with we declare a selector of input and label. So every input and every label in my HTML is going to take the attribute of display block. And so we're changing it from flex to block, and I will tell you why we did that now. Do that right now. So here's what the end product looks like. So basically I had to see if there's a good way to describe this. There's many ways to do it. Again, just like everything, my way is not the right way, it's not the wrong way, it's just the way I did it. So as you guys are aware, these cards are flex items and flex containers, so what was happening was I was putting my first name. I should have took a screenshot when I was doing it, but I didn't. But I get my first name in, I put my last name box in, and all of a sudden they'd be jammed together, and I couldn't get them to do anything really. I'd expand the page, I'd shrink the page, and everything would be all over the place. It was very random. And what I think it was doing is it was trying to, because this form is inside a flex item, it was trying to take on the elements that I have for the flex of the form card. And so I had to change that because I was doing a bunch of Googling and I couldn't find out a way to make that work where everything was not only looked good like this, but also stayed like that when you reposition the screen. So I went ahead and changed it to block. And so that's why this is here. And then what this is so the first name, the email, and the password selectors for those particular divs are float left, which means that we are simply calling, since we're using block, we can either use a float or position. So I use float to start off to say, hey, start the box off on the left side, or the div on the left side, and then on the first name and the email and the password in particular, I have a margin right of 80 pixels. And so what that does is that creates the gap right here. So margin right is, as we've learned before, excuse me, it just adds 80 pixels after the end of that. Excuse me, Tourette's is active tonight. After the end of that text box for the first name, for example, it's going to add that margin right 80 pixels. And then it's going to start the last name, because I have last name float left, and it will start right back where it left off. So at the 80 pixel mark, it'll begin. And these are just standard default browser length size for the for the boxes themselves. Nothing special there. And same for phone, float left. So phone's right here, phone number. We're floating it left. And then the same for password confirm. So basically everything, last name, phone number, and password confirm on the right is just floating left. And then we add the margin right to the first name, email, and password on the left in order to get it to float correctly, and then space it. And the only other thing besides that, actually, I'm glad I explained it that way. I was going to go back and forth, and I think I would have confused you guys. I think explaining this way was a better way. So anyway, the only thing different here that I don't really like, but I put it in there because I couldn't figure out a way around it, is I added 3 line breaks between last name and email, and between phone and password. So that gets them to pop down here to a new line. So the reason why I did that is because if you don't have them in there, it puts it at the because it's still trying to float, it will continue on to the right here in this same line. So just to show you, for example, if I comment them out, you'll see here, save it. It's live server, so it's changes are immediate. See how it jacked everything up? So now if I shrink the page, it looks great. But if I go to full size, everything looks not great. Because I know what it's doing, I just can't figure out how to fix it. See, it's filling up the size of whatever the parent, flex item is, which in this case is form card, which is fine. It's doing what it's supposed to do, and that's why it looks good here, because as you can see, the form card size has shrunk because it's being responsive. So what I tried doing was I tried adding in padding right. So basically, the purple on the right there would be increased to make the blue box smaller, and that was in an attempt to get the form to stop doing this, where I could get it to basically wrap. I did that, it did work, but then when I went to shrink it, it wouldn't look clean like this anymore. It was really messed up. In fact, I can show you real quick. So I won't get too far off the beaten path here, but if I go, here's what I was trying to do. So if I do padding right, we'll say like, I think I was up to like 600 pixels in my test. So if I save that, see how that looks really good and real sexy. Well, when I shrink it, now look what it does. See, because it's being responsive, so it's still adding in that 600 pixels of padding just on the smaller screen. So so that wasn't going to work. So that's when I gave up on that and I decided to go with a different route, and that's when I went with the block route and got away from the flex route, flex item, and flex, basically turning everything in that form from a flex item into a block display. So I no longer had to fight the flex box model. So save all this, make sure it's back to where it should be. Here we go. So yeah, and now it looks good. So like I said, you see in my CSS, I don't have any there's nothing in here yet for like the error checking and the focus and all that that the requirements is asking for. Like in here, oh, there it is. So like I don't have the variations in yet of the borders. I don't have the error class for the password. I don't have the focus in yet. I don't have the blue borders. That'll be for the next video. So the whole point of today's video was just getting it to behave visually. And I do believe I've completed that successfully because it looks good there. When I resize it down, it looks good there. Nothing's changed. So the blue box is actually what we're kind of after here when you focus on it. But this is not anything of my doing, as you can see in my code. It's just browser default. So this is just what Firefox is doing. And then the email is because I've got it categorized as an email as the type. So it's dropping down and giving me an email option. I must have used that at one point. Phone number and then password. See, so it's using Firefox's IntelliSense to see that is a password box. So it's asking me if I want to generate a password. Don't worry, I've never used that password. Won't use it. So you can copy that all you want or use it. But anyway, so that's it for that. Kind of short and sweet today. But this actually took me quite a bit of time to figure out. Again, I'm not sure I'm completely sold on putting line breaks in, but in order to get border to work the way I have it, that's what I resorted to. So I didn't look that one up. I just remembered BR was line break, and I just knew if I put some line breaks in there, it would probably wrap down, and it did. So let me know in the comments if you guys have a better way of doing this, or if you found at least a better way of having having the form drop down to the next line without using breaks. I would love to hear from you in the comments on that. So hope you guys enjoyed the ride today. Come along the journey with me and learn a little bit along the way. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content. And again, let me know in the comments section how you guys are doing on this exercise so far. I'm 90% healthy. I'm pretty much back to health. It's great to be back. So hopefully I'll get back to more normal uploads after I've been busy at work trying to get caught up on everything. And so my nights have been kind of tiresome, so I haven't been able to get back to this as much as I like, but hopefully by this weekend I'll be able to get back on track and get back to more normal uploads and back to normal studying. So with all that said, till next time, see ya.